So this concept with Motus about what I'm kind of calling the middle way is more or less how I'm kind of blending, and this is nothing new by the way, but the idea of blending these different philosophies, whether it's yoga or traditional weightlifting or Pilates or what have you, into something that's kind of more cohesive for, I keep calling sustainable and very practical type fitness. And I just realized that a good example of this is in yoga, for instance, the malasana, the squat pose, the frog pose, excuse me, is, in the context of yoga, it's not really taught as a squat. It's really much more for mobility and just to kind of get into it and, relax through that stretch. But in the weight training world, we look at that as a squat, a much more functional approach, specifically trying to keep the lower back tight as you move through it. And so it's much more like movement with purpose. And I think as a good example here, as I'm kind of formulating this more and more each day and each week, is that particular pose in yoga, if you take that and you add another layer onto it from the traditional weightlifting community, and you start talking about tension and how to actually turn your body into a practical lever to keep your spine happy and healthy for many years to come, then you're kind of getting an idea, I think, for what I'm trying to do with Motus, where it's, I don't want to say cherry picking because it has kind of like a negative connotation, but taking elements from different philosophies and putting them all together into something that is this ubiquitous term anymore called movement, where it's frustratingly simple as far as how we look at it and approach it, but at the same time there's so much that goes into it, and that's going to be the biggest communication issue I think going forward as I build a brand around Motus, where others I think have kind of failed in terms of how do you explain what people should be doing, how they should be moving well and moving with purpose, and why that's important. So hopefully that kind of frog pose, malasana, crossover into the squat is giving a little bit of information on this, shedding a little bit more light on kind of what we're trying to shape here. More to come, but that's a good starting point, I think.